that's what happens when we hit live. And I haven't yet muted the TV in the room, nor was I ready for the countdown to end. Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I have things under my desk and it's preventing me from stretching out. So I'm just going to move those couple of things so I can put my feet out. Hello, hello, hello. Nikolai is in the chat. Hello. Peekaboo to all, he says. Hello, Mother.
Hello, Mother.
Can I hear you say that again?
Hello, Mother.
Okay, so Mom's going to sound a little bit fainter because her microphone that's supposed to be clipped to her collar is actually sitting on top of her machine. You heard that right. Mom's sitting in front of a machine.
And using it.
And using it. So if you want to talk, like more than just a couple words, just pick it up and hold it. Maybe? Okay.
I don't plan on talking a lot tonight. I'm tired.
She says she doesn't plan on talking a lot tonight. She's tired, but she does want to be in the room and she does want to sew. She just doesn't, she's not up for lots of chit chat. She's had a long day. She rode up here today and she's been itching to stitching.
Wanted to finish what I started.
She did. So Mom wanted to start a quilt eons ago. And by eons, we just mean a few months. Remember, put the whole weight of that up on the table because otherwise you're going to fight with it. So she asked if she could make a quilt, and I said sure. We picked out a jelly roll of beautiful blues and greens and teal and aqua batiks. They're gorgeous and they're kind of beachy thing. There's seashells and stuff on them. And she's really enjoying working with these. So what we are doing is just, you can find this pattern, Missouri Star, or all sorts of fun places. Do you want to use my iPad for the chat?
No, I was responding to a text.
Okay, but do you want to use my iPad so you can see the chat?
No.
Okay. So she's not monitoring the chat, you guys. So just heads up. Anyway, she wanted to make a project, and I told her the best quilt we can make is going to be a really simple one. Just take all 40 2.5-inch strips from the pack and just sew each one of them together in whatever color order she prefers along the long edge. And so that's what she's doing right now. That's not going to be the finished quilt. Once all of her strips are sewn together along that long edge, we're going to take it to the cutting mat and we're going to cut off, we're going to square up the sides, true up the sides, and then we're going to cut a chunk of it off that is a little bit wider than the other. So maybe like a 10-inch piece and a 30-ish inch piece, depending on how much we have to sacrifice to the edges. And we're going to put a negative space right in between those two strip sections, but we're going to flip it so that the bottom piece of fabric that is on the left will become the top piece of fabric on the right. And going right down the middle is just going to be some white fabric, and then we'll put some white around as an inner border, and then maybe a nice big print that she chooses for the outer border, and it's going to give her a nice size quilt. It's a really easy project to do, and the only thing that it requires you to be able to do is just to sew a straight line consistently. She does have some tools on her machine that'll help her get 1/4 of an inch, but Mom, I don't know what your experience level is with quilting.
I did it by hand.
So she did it by hand. Oh yeah, she made a couple of quilts back in like the 90s, right? By hand. She has never really done any quilting by machine, but she knows how to operate a sewing machine. Yeah, okay. I thought she was going to say something, so I paused for...
No.
Okay, I know she knows how to operate a machine. Obviously, she made clothes for us at one point. So anyway, that's what she's doing tonight. And what I'm going to be working on tonight is trying to get my Sojo back. I don't know if you caught my vlog. It was uploaded yesterday and not Tuesday. But I have just been meh for the past week or so. And the culmination of that meh, actually, I think the meh happened almost as soon as I finished Ursula Minor. I was really excited to have that done, but it took it was a satisfying sew, but it took my muse with it when it was done. And I just haven't felt the gumption or desire to really work on any other big project since it was completed. I feel satisfied, I feel full, and I'm just kind of okay with that. But there are other projects that I have committed to, and I really need to kind of get back on the bandwagon. And so what I'm going to work on tonight is grabbing 3 fabrics, a white, a red, and a blue. I signed up for Oh, I signed up for this Quilts of Valor campaign that a organization called Quilts for Vets is doing. I couldn't give you all the details on it. I just know that a lady from Quilts for Vets reached out to me and asked me if I would be willing to donate either a fully completed quilt, a quilt top, or quilting services for a quilt that they're going to use as a quilt of valor. And I decided, and I don't think it's like a strict quilt of valor. There are some guidelines, like it has to be red, white, and blue, can't have any military insignia, things like that, but it's not super strict in the colors. So that's been something that I have committed to deliver by the end of the month. And I just decided tonight we're going to rip the band-aid and I'm just going to make some blocks for that quilt. I am using all batiks. I am using a blue batik, a red batik, and a white, undyed, untouched, uncolored batik. So the consistency of all 3 materials are going to be absolutely the same. And the blocks that I'm going to make are going to use this FPP pad that I got in a sew sampler box. They're going to look like this. So in the background, it's going to be white. And then this little star, these 4 pieces of fabric, some of them are going to be red and some of them are going to be blue. And I'm just going to alternate them in placement on the quilt. So that's what I'm going to make tonight. That's what I'm going to work on. I'm obviously not going to get all of the blocks done tonight, but it's a start. And it is FPP, which is kind of a way for me to feel like I'm making something without having to get all caught up in cutting out fabric accurately and then sewing with accurate seam allowances. I can just sew on the line. As long as my fabric is lined up on the FPP paper the right way, I can just sew on the line. So if you have been curious about FPP, maybe tonight is a good night where you can ride along with me and see if this clicks for you. I will tell you, my friends, Donna and Ian both have excellent FPP videos. Ian takes you step by step on how to do FPP start to finish, and Donna's been breaking down a lot of the legit kit stuffs for you. So if this still doesn't resonate with you, maybe give them a chance as well. There's a lot of design options that I could do with this. Some of these could be like they could be part blue and part red, but I just like the idea of having fully blue and fully red. And the reason for that is because the batiks that I'm using, if you don't know what a batik fabric is, it's essentially hand dyed or hand painted fabric depending on the manufacturer. Think of tie-dye fabric in a way. That's kind of what you're getting with batik fabric. This is not screen printed by computers. It's all done by hand. And so every yard of a batik on a bolt is different from the yard before it and the yard after it. No 2 are exactly alike. And there's a lot of movement and a lot of texture in the fabric, in the design. And I'm hoping that that movement and that texture will add kind of the visual interest to the stars, and the background is just going to be a stark white. So what's going to pop on this should be the red and the blue, and then the movement and different dye colors that are in the red and the blue. I see a lot of people in the chat. I just want to let you know I see you all. Hello. Couple of other announcements before I get to sewing. Donna from Handmade by Ying asked me to let you guys know that she is not going to be live tonight. She's not feeling the best. She's taking the night off. So if you are planning to hop on over to her channel after this.
No.
Are you air sewing?
Worse.
What?
I'm sewing it on in the wrong side.
You don't.
This is the front.
Mom.
This is the raw edge.
You're sewing it the right way. Those are right sides together.
Oh.
The seam is on the bottom of the big quilt. You're okay. So Donna will not be on tonight, which means we might go a little bit longer. Maybe we don't, but I won't be dumping you to Donna's channel after. And then the second announcement, actually 2 announcements that I'm going to give you, and then we're just going to get into sewing. If you have not already signed up for my class, so yeah, there are still, I believe, a few seats available. It is a Zoom class. I do have the link, so if you signed up and you didn't get the link, send me an email, becca@sewbecca.com, and I'll help you out. But that class is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to need some yardage and a charm pack, and we're going to put together a mini carpenter star, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The other announcement for you, just to kind of keep you updated, not to hard sell anything, but today in just a few hours. No, tomorrow in just a few hours. At midnight tomorrow, I think is when it is. Tomorrow is the last day that you can get in on the block of the month from Legit Kits. This is a pattern that you're not going to be able to buy anywhere else. It is going to be exclusive to their block of the month. It's going to be a 12-month block of the month that started shipping this month. And your last day to sign up is tomorrow. So if you are still on the fence about that and you're thinking about doing it, remember that you have a digital only subscription, which will get you a PDF copy of each month's pattern. That's it. You have the full kit, which will give you your fabric and your pattern. And if you have, if you desire to have both, there is an option to get you the digital PDF as well as the full kit. They are not shipping overseas. I believe it is shipping to US is included, but I could honestly be getting the details wrong as I'm sharing them with you. And so for that reason, I'm going to tell you all of the details for pricing and what they can and cannot do, will or will not do, will be on their website. You can sign up at legitbom.com. And if you use my code Becca, you'll get 10% off of month number 1. Okay, those are all of my announcements. I think I'm ready to sew, Mom.
Well, what are you waiting on?
I don't, apparently a personal invitation because if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure I want to do this tonight. But I got to because I promised I would do it. So we're just going to do it. No, you don't get a discount every month. The discount is 10% off of month number 1 only. I saw that in the chat. So I just want to answer that question for you. Okay. We're going to change this to live chat so that I can... Becca, do we cut ahead? No, we will do everything together. Don't starch, don't cut. Just get your fabric and meet me on Zoom and we'll go through everything together. But if you did starch, don't worry about it. I've got some tips for you that'll help you out during tomorrow's live stream or Zoom class. Gloria Butler says, getting on here late. Hi, Becca and everyone from Northeast Tennessee. Hello. What's holding them up? Seems like you should have started by now. Hi, Carla. I'm not sure what that's in reference to.
We're in Northeast Tennessee.
Is the whatnot loaded in? Stephanie Fulton, no, but it will be tomorrow. That's my plan to do tomorrow. Before or after the class, definitely by early Sunday morning, it'll be loaded in, but tomorrow is my goal. All right, so I'm going to try and pay attention to the chat, both for my benefit as well as Mom's while we're going tonight. Robin Marie says, hi, Becca, how are you doing today? We're doing well. Your twin, Nancy Jean number 2, is in the chat tonight, Mom. Well. That's all she's got is well. Tiffany's PT. Got it. Okay. Got it. I was like, what? I was like, what are we talking about? They should have done it by now. I get it. They're talking about Tiffany's PT. She's had some insurance things that she's trying to get worked out. She had hip surgery.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peggy went through that with her knees.
Well, yeah. So I'm gonna grab 4 pieces of blue because the first star I'm going to make is blue, and we will go to the overhead camera so you can see what I'm doing as I go. And then I'm just going to grab 8 pieces of white fabric. I don't need probably a full 8, but I just want to have all of my fabric set aside to make 1 block. By the way, what am I working with here? So this is the 6-inch vintage kite FPP paper from It's So Emma. And according to the paper pad, I'll take you to the overhead. According to you like this view? Look at this. I hope it's not backwards for you. It probably is.
It's not for me.
Well, it's not for you, but you're sitting right there. Let me know on the screen if the words are going oh, I can actually see on my end too. Curious how that looks.
Oh, look at you all techie.
Oh, look at me all techie. So I'm curious how this looks. But anywho, the FPP booklet, this comes from It's So Emma. And there are all inside. Oh, it is upside down. I see. Oh, well, it's okay.
It's all good.
Actually, hold on a second. Let me try one more thing. Upside down. I was hoping that if I flipped the camera around, things would be a little bit better. And that's not what had happened. So we're going to go boom, boom.
Is our Greenland lady in the chat tonight?
There we go, just like that. Okay, this will make it the right side way. I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
The lady from Greenland, is she in the chat?
She is in the chat tonight. All right, so moving back to this pad of paper. This is a pad of paper from It's So Emma. I got it in a sew sampler box, and what you have inside are all pieces of paper that look exactly the absolute same. And so I'm going to show you how we're going to work with one of these sheets of paper to make one block. This has 42 pieces of fabric, or 42 pieces of paper in the pad. So from this pad of paper, I need one sheet of paper to make one block. And so I should be able to make 42 blocks in here. Also on the inside, it gives me the illustrations for how many of these I will actually be able to put together. And so if I want to make a wall hanging, I need 16 blocks. If I want to make a crib size quilt, I'll need 36. What I'm probably aiming for is a lap quilt, and I'll need 80 blocks laid out in an 8x10 fashion. So I know I'm probably going to need a second pad of this, and I think I actually have one. I'm not going to get all 80 done in one night, but we will get some done. So the way this works is we're going to sew, it's like color by number, only with fabric. We're going to sew underneath the fabric that has, we're going to place our fabric in the first position, and then we're going to place the background fabric in position 2 and 3. So these gray triangles, these gray diamond wedges, this is going to be where my red or my blue fabric is. It's going to be red for all 4 or blue for all 4 to make it really, really simple. And then behind 2 and 3, it's always going to be white. And we're always going to place our color fabric behind number 1 first. This is supposed to be really good to use for charm squares. So that's what the paper pad said. Excellent idea for charm squares. So rather than cutting off yardage and dealing with selvage edges and all that other stuff, I just cut a bunch of roughly cut 5-inch strips of fabric and then subcut them into 5-inch squares. Is it overdone? Probably. That's fine. All I'm looking for when I place my blue fabric behind the paper pad is just that the fabric extends at least a 1/4 inch beyond all 4 of these sides of this gray wedge. And I can do that by checking a couple of different ways. First, I can just fold along the edge, and I can see the fabric extends. I can fold along the edge over here too, make sure that the fabric extends. I can also do the same thing under here, or I can hold this up to a light source, which I'm doing right now, and I can see, because the paper is so thin, that the fabric grossly extends beyond all of those lines. Again, I'm making sure that my fabric extends a 1/4 inch past all of these 4 lines. Once that's done, then I'm going to pick up a white square and I'm going to lay it down so that it's kind of underneath fabric 1. And I'm just going to flip it over to just roughly to see if it covers my number 2 section, and it does. There's actually a way that I do this to be a little bit more precise. Let me show you what that is. I find the line between section 1 and section 2. And then I grab my add a 1/4 plus ruler, which has a little ledge on it, and I just fold that paper back. And then very carefully I come in and I cut this excess off. And now what I've got is a seam allowance that allows me to line up my fabric. I'm going to save my offcuts because those are scraps I could use later. Once that's done, hold on, let me just make sure everything's going okay. Interesting. People are asking to see things a little bit closer, so I'm trying to get in as tight as I can. That's about as close as I'm going to be able to get. I'm not going to be able to come in any closer. You're going to lose the machine view with this. which is not what I wanted, but we'll get there. All right, so once that goes in, once I've got that cut, then I can take my white square and I line up a straight edge of that white with that fresh cut seam that I just made, and I'm going to flip it over. And when it flips over, I want to make sure that this flipped over fabric now covers that section too. And I can see from my side that it does. Then I'm just going to take this whole thing over to my machine, and with about a 1.2 or 1.3 seam allowance, we're just going to stitch right on that line going between section 1 and section 2. We're going to go back out so you can see what I'm doing under the machine. Once that's done, we'll come back over here, and at that point I press my background fabric over so that it's all covering that section number 2. And then I like to bring in this Acorn Easy Press pen to apply just a little bit of starch right to that seam only. This just gets me super flat seams without having to starch the whole block. Hello, Lori. She says, I just finished dinner. Jewel says, can you show the fabric close so we can see the design in the fabric? So I think I did that, Jewel. This is like that's the fabric. I think you can see it, right? It's just a marble blue texture. And this is just white. Once I have my fabric under number 2, then I'm going to come over to number 3, the line between 1 and 3, and I'm going to add a white piece under section 3. But to do that, I'm going to trim to get a nice seam allowance that'll allow me to line up the raw edge of my fabric. My ears are ringing. Hello, Karen. I'm just making some vintage kite stars using some red, white, and blue batik fabric that's going to go into a patriotic quilt that I'm donating for a Quilts of Valor fundraiser at the end of the summer. So I'm trying to get started on it now. So now I've got my fabric underneath this section, so we're going to move on to another section. It really doesn't matter which one I move to. I'm just going to go clockwise. So we're going to do the same thing. Let me just read the instructions to make sure that the paper pad doesn't want us to do anything different, because sometimes these paper pads don't do FPP the way you normally would. Cut the vintage kite paper along the dotted lines into 4 triangles. Got it. We were supposed to cut the paper apart before we started sewing. So that's fine. We're going to fix that now. That's why I wanted to check my directions before I started sewing the next one. And this doesn't have to be super accurate in between here because we're going to trim it all up when it's done. So there's 1 out of each pad of paper. We should have 4 triangles that we're going to work with. This one's already done. These have some scraps that we're just going to set aside for now. This is a blank piece of paper that we're going to work with. And then over here, I figured that was what we were going to need to do. I'm glad I checked. All right. So here's 1 triangle that's done. Now we're going to do this a few more times. So I'm going to pick up another square of fabric. Just going to lay it down there, and then I'm going to come in with a white square, and I'm going to get my line cut on fabric 2. For those of you that don't know, maybe you're new around here, my moderators that are in the chat, most of them have YouTube channels of their own, and they would love it if you would check out their channel. Sean from The Guy Who Sews goes live on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. and then does a podcast on Sunday. Tiffany, who you see in the chat is Tiffany's Quilting Life, does a live stream on Sundays called Sew Sunday, and that is at 5 p.m. Arizona time. And Teresa Louise from Teresa Louise I Quilt 2 usually does a live stream on Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And Ian, the off-kilter crafter Ian, does a live stream on Sundays at 2 p.m. Central time. I believe those are all the right times. Or maybe it's 1 p.m. Central time and 2 p.m. my time. I can't get them straight. But here's what I can tell you to do. If you're interested in checking out any of their channels, if you do !friends, you'll get their commands, and you can use their command to get their YouTube link and go check them out. And then Donna, of course, she does a live stream on Friday nights after me, except for tonight, and then Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a question in the chat. Lori says, I'm going to see how well I can multitask. The Golden Knights game is starting. Good luck. Somebody was asking about the pen that I'm using. Who makes your starch pen? So the pen that I'm using is made by Acorn. You can see it there. It's out of focus, but maybe we can get it to focus. There you go. It is the Easy Press pen by Acorn. You can get those at Fat Quarter Shop. And there is an affiliate link with Fat Quarter Shop in the description box below. You certainly don't have to use it. It won't increase your cost at all, but if you do use my affiliate link to buy something from Fat Quarter Shop, I'll get a small compensation, small commission from that, that'll help offset expenses for, well, not offset expenses, but it'll help compensate me for my time. How's your pressing going, Mom?
I'm stopping for tonight. My shoulder's killing me.
Oh, you want to go sit in the chair and relax?
I'm putting my shoes on at the moment, but that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
You know, a proper woman doesn't wear shoes when she sews.
Oh, no, I don't. Karen says, wow, I like those green nails. This was a first, I think. I don't think I've ever had green nails like this before. And the shade of green that they are, it definitely has like throwback to the 70s kitchen vibes.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to go for like a bright neon green, like almost a yellow green. And the color didn't work right for, like, you could still see through it. So the lady was like, oh, this isn't a good color. I was like, okay. And so we had to change our game plan mid manicure. And I was like, well, I guess we're going with a different color. Still want to try with green. And what she brought out, and I wasn't necessarily in love with. So I dressed it up by putting a little daisy on a ring finger. Put daisies on it to make it a little bit prettier.
Now that one I like.
The one with the daisies?
It's the green I dislike.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not a green fan.
Somebody was asking about the ruler that I'm using. This is the Add a Quarter Plus ruler. The difference between the Add a Quarter ruler and the Add a Quarter Plus ruler is the Add a Quarter Plus ruler has a tapered edge on one side. On one side they both have ledges, but on the opposite side it has a tapered edge, which I like to use to help crease my fabric when I'm doing FPP. Jill says, I love your nails and I love the new cover on your ironing board. Oh, you guys saw that, huh? That is one thing I did do this week, was recovered my ironing board with a staple gun. What?
And she made one for Mama.
And I made one for Mama. Solid purple, just for her.
Just for me.
Just for her. And I made one for Mary and Donna, too.
Way to make me not feel special anymore.
Yeah, but you're the only one that has yours. They don't have theirs.
Okay, I can live with that. I got mine first.
There you go. I feel like I don't even really need the acorn pen to do this, because the batiks finger press so beautifully and there's not really a lot of bulk in this, but it's almost just a habitual thing now. I just do it. So, oh gosh, here comes my daughter with something. Hi, can I help you? Huh? I don't know.
My beautiful granddaughter.
Excuse me while I take care of tech for the child.
Password.
I see that. Yes, I know you want the password. That's what I thought.
You've got your daddy's smile.
Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy.
Oh, wait.
Oh my gosh. These two. Great. Thanks, Mom. Thank you. Great.
I love that laugh.
I'm glad you something. I'm glad you
Come up so rarely. She can laugh like that when I'm here.
that's what you think. Keep thinking.
Zoe, you can come down and do it in my little apartment anytime you want.
All right. There you go.
It's been fun.
Shut the door, please. Mothering in the 21st century. She has Oculus, which is a virtual reality headset. She likes to play games on it with her friends. Well, she has worn out the controller after 2 years of use on this thing. And we had to buy new controllers, which are not cheap, by the way. They are pricey. Yeah, they're pricey. So we had to buy 2 new controllers, and those came in the mail today. And in order to, she needs the password for the stuff so that the controllers can start working, but we don't let her have the password. So when it's time to sign into accounts, she has to bring the device to us. And by us, I mean me, because my husband automatically defers to, take it to your mom. I don't know the password. So there you have it.
Hey, we need to let Mary crafting with the panda or whatever it is.
Mary.
Know that before I spend the night down there, Jason has kindly closed all the heat vents.
So the next time you're there, you might want to open them back up.
Yeah.
If it's in the winter.
Or in the summer and you got the air blasting.
Well. All right.
When I move in, I'm bringing my propane fireplace.
Okay, sounds good.
I can heat Rick out of there too.
I heard you told Jason that if something happens to Rick, you'd be here within the month.
I did tell him that.
If something happens to Rick, I'll be here within the month.
Get someone to clean that trailer out and I'll be on my way up.
I might just let it go. Everything inside of it. Pack your clothes. Let's go.
Oh, there's some memorabilia I want to bring.
Okay, great. Pack those things. Leave everything else behind. It goes to the new owners.
No. fireplace will be coming.
Does that require a special drip into the house so that you don't have like the propane fumes and stuff?
It's ventless, but you do have to run the propane line into the house, yes.
Okay. Well, that's going to be a whole thing.
That's why you have someone come do it.
I know, and it's going to be a whole cost. Maybe not that bad.
I don't think it'll be as bad.
I think my plumber does that actually. That's weird? Like I remember when we had the water heater replaced, when we upgraded the water heater, he was talking about, oh yeah, you could do a gas water heater. I was like, no, we don't have any gas. It's all electric here. And he was like, oh yeah, if you want to run gas, I'll take care of that for you. I was like, oh, the plumber does that? That's weird. But I guess.
What are you doing with that pen?
That's liquid starch. I am applying it to the seam as I'm sewing the blocks together. I'm drawing a little bit of starch right onto the seam, which makes that seam really super nice and flat. For just one stitch, just 2 pieces of fabric with batik, I almost don't really need it because batiks press so well, but
They do.
It's just gotten into, it's just a routine thing that I've gotten used to doing from working with the legit kits. Because if I'm doing FPP and there's a lot of bulk, there's more than just 2 pieces of fabric that I'm trying to put under there, adding starch or steam, starch preferably, adding something like that will help it press a whole lot flatter.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. Just drawing a little bit of concentrated starch right under the seam with the pen. You look so tired in your eyes.
I am tired.
What are we going to do tomorrow? I've got to teach that class at 3 o'clock.
Well, you know, every time I come, you take me get my toes done.
I knew you were going to be like, well, is it going to be time for the pedicure tomorrow?
Well, if it's not going to be before Michigan, then I have to cut my toenails.
Well, I need to cut mine too, and I've been waiting. I've been waiting to see how long and nasty they can get.
They look like corn chips.
Fritos, please. That's disgusting.
I used to work with a lady that let hers grow like that.
Ew.
It was so gross. And she'd get them all, you know, her pedicures and get them all polished up, but Fritos still look like Fritos.
Once I have sewn all of my pieces together, I have 4 triangles with fabric attached to the back side of them. Then I'm going to go around and square this up a 1/4 inch away from the sewing line. So there is a line on here, this dashed line, it says sewing line. So I'm trimming a 1/4 inch away from that and a 1/4 inch away from here. And then on the outside, I'm trimming a 1/4 away from this drawn solid line. So what you could do is just cut on the solid lines all the way around, but I'm leaving a 1/4 inch on the outside. Actually, I don't think I need to because it's in here. Okay, so spoiler alert, don't do that. If you're going to do this, just cut on the solid line. Follow the It's So Emma instructions. You're going to cut on the solid line on all 4 of your pieces.
See, what you're doing with all that is way more than I want to do.
Okay. And then you have 1 quadrant put together. And now we're going to do that for these other 3. We're just going to cut on that solid line. And once we cut on the solid line, then we're going to pin these together and sew them to make our first block. Chainsaw for toenails, Sheila says. Is this your pattern, Becca? I'm making it up as I go. So not really, because I am sure that somebody else out there has written a pattern for this. I'm just going to sew, I'm going to create about 40 red blocks and 40 blue blocks, and then I'm going to sew them together in alternating arrangement. Oh gosh. I don't have time to come all the way out there, Mary. Mary says we should drive out and visit her. We'll see you on Sunday. I got to be back here by 2:30 to set up for my class. We'll see you on Sunday, though.
On Tuesday?
On Tuesday. We'll gladly see you on Tuesday for a burger today.
Well, it might be hard to see her on Tuesday if we're driving to Michigan.
It was a joke.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Popeye used to have that on there, that Wimpy or whatever.
Oh, yeah, the burger thing?
Yeah.
Did you print the pattern yourself? No. Nope. This is what I am using. There is no pattern. I am just making 80 of these blocks and sewing them together in an 8x10 arrangement. No pattern. Death! Okay, I understand. I don't know why you said death. Did I say death?
I didn't think so.
Okay, I don't understand.
So maybe I can get my hair cut tomorrow too.
Well, you maybe. I don't know if Darcy has last minute availability.
Well, I just thought about it.
Well, I know, but she stays booked, so
I know.
you can ask, but you might be told no. Oh, she wrote drats.
Oh, drats, not death.
That does take on a whole different connotation, doesn't it?
Yeah, see what I have to deal with. That's why I'm tired.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for the Soya class at 3 o'clock, I might, because she's an hour away. And I know how you are, like, you've had a full day in the car, and we're going to have a couple more full days in the car on Tuesday. And so I'm pretty sure you're not going to want to make that drive. But there is an ice cream place out. See, it might end up happening. Maybe. Oh, but we got Megan coming over tomorrow night with Dominic and the kids. So it can't be in the evening. It would have to be like early morning, and nobody wants ice cream for breakfast.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, I had a banana split last night.
You had a what?
Banana split.
A banana split?
Oh my gosh. All hand-dipped ice cream.
Gotcha. All right, so now that we have our 4 squares sewn together, look how pretty that block is going to be. We need to sew them together. So I'm going to make 2 halves. I'm going to sew these together and these together. And when I do this, I want to pay very careful attention to this area right here. Yeah, I don't want those points to be messed up, because then I would have a star block that looks like that. And while that might be, yeah, wonky stars are okay, but not for this quilt. I'm not aiming for wonky, though. If I get wonky, it's okay. So on the back side of the paper, you'll notice there is a dot right here where the stitched line and this line kind of meet up. And so I'm going to put my pin right through that dot. Mary must be texting Mom.
She loves banana splits, all caps.
Yeah, I knew that was happening. As soon as I heard the ding, I was like, oh, here they go. Mary and Mom are like...
These banana splits are so big.
How big are they?
Oh no, they're huge. I can't eat the whole thing.
Okay. So we're going to put the pin through the 1 dot here, and then we're going to poke it through the fabric and try to get it into that dot on the other side. And then we're going to let the pin go straight through and line everything up so that our raw edges are aligned. But here's the thing, when you're cutting, you could just be a hair or 2 shy when you're trimming up on one block and not the other. And so for that reason, I always find it's a great idea to grab 2 more pins and pin your corners, making sure that the pin goes in and comes out at the exact same spot, marked spot on the piece of or on the piece of paper. Yep, just like that. And then down here, there's no intersection to worry about. So I'm just going to put some clips. Once I have my pins in and they're hanging straight down, I'm just going to take some clips and put those along the raw edge of everything. Pull out my pins. I'm just going to leave them lay there because I'm going to need them again. And then I'm going to go to my machine, and there's a dashed line that says sewing line that I'm going to stitch directly on. Hopefully everything should line up. Now, if I'm super concerned about this, I can always sew this with a basting stitch, flip it over, test it, and if it works out perfectly or I'm satisfied with it, then I can come back in and stitch with my 1.2 or 1.5 stitch length right on top of that basting stitch. So there you go. Look at that, Mom. There's half. Once I've done that, I do like to rip out the paper in between, because I like to press my seams open, and then I like to rip out the paper so that the paper in the seam is completely gone and I don't have to worry about any of that bulk. That's gone over there. That's gone over here, or will be in a moment.
This brings back very bad memories of
Clipping coupons?
sewing in home ec.
Oh, really? Why?
You had those stupid paper patterns, and the way you were putting your pins in there to mark your... No, thank you.
Really?
Yeah. Don't like doing that.
Well, you don't have to. I still feel like there's an invention out there that somebody can cut it. I know it exists, but it needs to be mass marketed where we could do your FPP paper through an inkjet printer so you can print off the pattern at home, and then the fabric, the pattern, the paper on the back could just completely dissolve when you wash it, so you don't have to rip the papers out.
Be thin like a rice paper almost.
Yeah. The problem is you can't put it through a laser printer, which applies heat to put your ink on it. And you can't put it through an inkjet paper because an inkjet paper gets the paper a little wet to print on it. So you have to find a different way to print. You okay?
Yeah.
I'm also just I'm gonna wing this one and see if we can do it winging rather than pinning. Let's see what happens. It's only fabric and it's only thread. I like to cut corners when I can. Oops, come on. Watch this one not work out. Just because I was like, oh, I like to cut corners. Not bad. What do you think? What do you think,
Hello, mother.
Mother? Susan says, I would eat ice cream for breakfast.
So would I.
Well, it's not happening.
Well, it's not open for breakfast anyway. Mary already confirmed that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sticking my tongue out really helps me rip the papers. Yeah. Do you think you're going to sleep on the couch or in your bed tonight?
I have to clean my bed off.
Why? What's on the bed?
Suitcase that's open.
Oh, do you want me to come help you with that?
I mean, I can do it.
Do you want me to come help you with that?
It's going to be the couch tonight.
Okay.
I'm not making it to the bed.
You just can't want to?
I can't want to.
Sounds good.
Tomorrow I plan on sleeping in the bed.
Okay. And for those of you that are curious, I would like to know out of you as well. Mom has a really nice reclining couch that she got last year. She doesn't lay down on the couch. She likes to sleep in the recliner of the couch. Anybody else do that out there? I'm waiting for the iron to press my seam.
You'd be surprised how many older people will sleep in a recliner.
Mary did that when she stayed. She sleeps in your I don't think she sleeps in the bed. I think she sleeps in the recliner.
See, her and I could be roommates. She could have one end, I could have the other.
Well, I think that's I think she's planning to do that when Ian comes. Maybe
Oh,
she's
that's
gonna
fine.
bring her puppies, and you guys are gonna be
Oh, listen here.
the Golden Girls downstairs, but just two of you,
The
not
couch
four.
is actually pretty comfy,
See?
just saying it. So, Becca,
Oh, are you looking at the chat?
no, I'm looking at my
Oh,
message.
well, I, I'm watching the chat, which is where everybody else is. You guys are having your own little conversation. We're not invited to that.
I just invited you.
I'm doing a live stream. I'm not texting.
You don't have to text Mary, and I can do that, and I will read.
Okay, sounds good.
Got it, got it.
You're crazy.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to grab a couple more pins, and then we will have a blue block. Like Blue Bloods, Mom. Oh, man. Jinx.
It's on tonight.
Okay.
Season finale.
Oh, is it? Well, we can watch it on the DVR later. Donnie can't be in my time slot. Donnie, I'm live right now. I can't watch you live, Donnie.
Francis.
Oh, I bet you are. You and that Tom Selleck.
Ooh,
It's that
baby.
mustache, isn't it?
Let me tell you.
I won't ask you this because it would be inappropriate.
But you can ask anyway.
You want to take that mustache for a ride?
I'm sitting here thinking about what a ride it would be.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now we're done. Now we're done. Now we're done. Now we're done.
Actually, I would just like to sit down and talk with him.
He has aged very nicely.
He's so pretty.
Well, I guess that's what happens when you have lots of money.
And yeah, you can get facelifts.
He looks good.
Looks real good for him.
How old is he?
He's like I'll tell you in a second. I think he's pushing 80.
Really?
Safari.
Okay, once my block is put together, I can rip all of the papers out of this. I don't have to keep them on here. In traditional FPP, what happens is once your block is all put together, you leave the paper on the back of it because around the perimeter of the block is a line that gives you your 1/4 inch seam allowance, and it allows you to pin your blocks to each other. But that doesn't actually happen here. But there are some markings that I can use when I go to put this together. They're the same markings that I could use on the back of the fabric. I'm going to show that to you in just a minute. I just want to rip the paper out of the seam.
He is 78.
Wow. 78. He looks really good. I mean, he's probably in better shape at 78 than I am in my 40s.
His birthday was in January.
Wow. He's from Detroit too, ain't he? Michigan somewhere.
Yeah, but I think it says born Detroit, Michigan, U.S.
Yep. I thought so. Sam Elliott.
Oh, now there's a mustache.
Okay, these papers are starting to fall off, so I will probably end up just ripping them off and saving myself the headache. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about after I press this seam, though. Yeah, he does have a very big mustache, and he's got that really low voice, too.
Oh.
There was a show called The Ranch on Netflix with Ashton. I watched that. The first few seasons were okay, but then it just started getting really slow, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that's kind of how it went with me, too.
I'm done with this. Like, I can only take so much of, we don't have money, we're broke, are we going to sell the rent? Like, it just started to get to be a thing. I was like, all right, I just don't, I can't with this one anymore.
Patrick Swayze or Pierce Brosnan.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I like them, too.
Okay.
Mary.
And she's talking to you, no one else.
Well, I was reading it to you guys.
Okay.
Mary and I have this covered.
I see.
Play the game.
She's talking with you. Okay. I don't. I don't think I'm getting my point across very
Yes,
well.
you have, but
No, I don't think I'm explaining myself. It's okay.
You are explaining.
I'm
yourself.
happy that you have a friend that you are enjoying. I'm happy that you are having a wonderful conversation. So on the back side of, I think what I was trying to say is, does she want you to read those out loud for everybody?
That's what she's going to get. If
So
you don't want it repeated, don't send it to me.
Okay. That's all I was trying to get at. She's texting you to talk to you, and you're putting all of her business out there. That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, stop.
You're funny. Anywho, doesn't matter. It's okay. I just didn't. I'm doing multiple things at once, and I'm doing a really bad job of being in two places at one time. So I'm just going to shift back over to the block, and you can shift back over your text conversation with Mary.
And here it is.
There you go.
Thank you, Mary. She says she has no secrets.
Okay. So this is what the block will look like when it's done. We're going to do 40 red and 40 blue. Now,
That's
on the
very
back
pretty.
side of this, you'll notice there are X's where each of these points kind of come. And these are the pieces that we're going to want to pay attention to when we're sewing the block together. Now I can leave, or when we're sewing all the blocks together to make our quilt, and I could leave the paper on the back of this if I wanted to, just to kind of hold the block, give it some stability. And I can use these X intersections on the back of the fabric when I'm sewing all the blocks together. But since I don't have a whole lot holding down these pieces of paper under number 2 and number 3, they're going to eventually just end up annoying me. So it's okay to rip those off now. And they'll come off really easily because you don't have tons of... It's kind of satisfying to rip them off a little bit.
I was thinking I would enjoy doing that.
Well, I will pass these over to you to do that. But what you can see is right here, you can see that intersection of thread. And so when you're pinning, you just want to pay attention to the point, just like you normally would. Pam says, remember my grandson's voice. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Karen says that is a beautiful block. What do you think, Mom?
I like it.
Yeah?
But I wouldn't want to go through what you went through to get that.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like sewing, quilting, piecing, whatever your craft is, whatever it is you're working on, it should be enjoyable. You should enjoy the process to do whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah.
And there are some steps or some crafts that just aren't for everyone. Like, you like to play with yarn. I'm not necessarily a fan. I know you've not been doing much with it lately, but...
I'm making something now that we're going to raffle off for a fundraiser from our next big reunion.
Okay.
And then there's some other stuff I need to talk to you about while I'm here.
Oh gosh, I'm about to get more projects put on my plate. Pat says, are you going to sew the blocks in straight rows, or will you stagger the rows? I think I'm going to stagger them so that I have some motion. And to do that, I know that this block will be 6.5 inches. When it's squared up, it'll finish at 6. And so what I'm thinking about doing is one will be up here, and then the next one will start down here. And so it'll be up and down, up and down, up and down. That way I don't have to match up any points
like a
to points.
Split rail.
Right. So because if I end up doing it, and I can show you on the pad, if I end up just putting them blocks together the way that they're laid out, you see here, I can show you in the overhead, I'm going to end up getting this secondary pattern of these wagon wheels. The shade will be my blue and my red, but this wagon wheel design right here is going to be the background, and I don't want that to stand out. So I'm going to offset them a little bit. Plus, I feel like by offsetting those blocks, I'm going to get a little bit of motion. I still need 80 blocks. I still need 40 red, 40 blue. But the top row, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to start with blue and then go red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red. And the next one will be red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And I'll stagger them a little bit. And to, like I said, to offset them, all I need is a piece of background fabric that's half the size. So 3¼ inches by 6½. So Terry says, Mama Nancy, are your legs these days? How are they? Are they feeling better?
Yes.
You want to talk about that for a couple minutes?
There's not really a lot to say.
Mm.
They feel much better than they did. I will always have fat ankles now. But I can wear shoes now that I couldn't wear a year ago.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. Are you excited to see Mary on Sunday? She's nodding. I'm kind of happy that the two of you have hit it off because I feel you look so tired.
I am tired.
I feel like when you move up here or when you're up here, I could see you and Mary doing things without me involved.
You think?
Well, and that to me makes me happy because that means you have a friend that you can do things with.
Oh.
And I don't know, I feel like that's an important thing for you to have that. So I'm glad that you have your Mary.
I'm glad you found her.
Well, I think she found me.
Well, you know.
Are these FQS papers? Yes, they are. It is the vintage kite paper pad from It's So Emma. Mom's going to steal a Werther's, and here's the... Oh no, she's getting a Snickers. I was going to say, here's the funny thing. She's got a plate of them on her sewing machine. You could offset with half stars. Actually, you could. That's a really good idea. So Terry said, that's great, Mama Nancy. All the therapy worked.
Yes. And I talked to my primary care when I was there and asked him if he thought I needed more therapy, and he said no.
Where's your microphone?
Huh? Oh, it's over there.
Okay. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Peggy Cox wants to know, does your mom still use her leg ramp? She said yes. Hello, Glenda. I'm glad your power's back on.
I don't know what this was off of.
Don't worry about it. Just set it down. I'll take care of it later. What time are you getting up in the morning?
Whenever my fat butt wakes up.
April says, hi, Becca. What spray bottle are you using? I like the clear bottle. This is a bottle I bought off of Amazon. And the link for that bottle is on my website if you want to pick one up. They come in packs of 3. Absolutely love it. It holds a lot more than your traditional bottles that you buy at the quilt shops. It's more cost effective too. And I just put Best Press on there, a vinyl decal that I printed off of my Cricut. Now I'm going to make a red one so that I have a red and a blue. And I'm going to try to use some of my white scraps for this just to reduce my amount of fabric needed.
I like that red.
Yeah, the red is really pretty. Let me give you a nice... Pat said, did Mama steal your friend?
I did.
She did. It's okay. She didn't steal. I share. So this is what the red is going to look like. It's got roses and flowers on it, which I think is pretty. It's gorgeous. And maybe not something that you would necessarily reach for with a Quilt of Valor, but the nice thing with a Quilt of Valor is I can kind of make it whatever I want. Like I'm just gonna do my thing.
Well, there's women that get.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not just men anymore.
That's true. And the other thing with this quilt is because I'm only using such a little piece of that fabric, you might not even be able to tell that it was a rose when it ends up getting cut up.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I would love a quilt out of just that.
Out of just the red?
Yeah.
Well, I do have some of this on the bolt. You want me just to load it on the long arm and quilt it?
Oh. You load it on the long arm, and I will quilt it.
What? Mic drop, y'all. Mom said, load it up, baby. You know, tell them the story about your blanket. Go
Which
ahead.
blanket?
The one you do not have with you today. Or I guess the one you do have with you today.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
The story you told me and Pat about why you got started late.
Oh,
Oh my God.
because it was 50, like low 50s outside, and when we left the house, my sweet husband had to have his window down almost a fourth of the way. Where does all that cold air go? You got it right on my face. So, an hour into the drive, I gave him back the $20 I stole from him yesterday. That's another story. And told him I wanted to go to Walmart and he was buying me a blanket.
Okay.
So I gave him back his $20
Okay.
and I got a new blanket.
Which blanket did you leave behind? Was it the quilt that I made for you?
It's the one you bought from Tracy Louise. Ugly Duckling.
I didn't buy that from Teresa Louise.
No.
That was from Jean Truelove.
Okay, that you bought from.
Or Jen, her friend Jen. Jean Truelove's Jen friend. The Ugly Flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did not buy that from Teresa Louise. That was Jen's first attempt at making a quilt.
Yes.
Yes. You love that quilt.
It's just the right size.
And you loved it from day one.
Yeah.
You loved it from go.
And from the time I spotted it in your basement at the other house, it's been mine.
It has been. You stole it.
I did steal it. Of course, Rick's version of that story is, who needs a blanket when it's 85 degrees out? It was not 85.
I like how every time you tell the story, that temperature goes up a little bit more. Next time it'll be 90.
No, that's what he said.
But he told me 80.
Oh, well,
Every time
80
he
then.
tells a story, it goes up a little bit more.
Either way, it wasn't even 60 out.
Oh, you guys are crazy. You crazy young lovebirds.
That's in my past. I'm not young anymore.
But what do we think about Harrison Ford?
Well, I liked him better when he was younger.
Okay.
He kind of lost it as he aged. He didn't age well.
Okay. So that's all we got to say about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the guy's name that was on Cheers?
Oh, Ted
Danson.
Yeah, Ted Danson.
He's another one that didn't age real well, but he doesn't look horrible.
Oh, he did a show recently that I
Yeah.
actually kind of liked. I thought he did a good job with that show.
I never watched
It was called The Good Place. Oh, you're going to have to watch it. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. You're going to like it.
And
You're
I do
gonna
believe
like
I'm
it.
done with Heartland.
Are you really? I never thought I would hear those words come out of your mouth. Why are we done with Heartland? What happened?
Well, I kind of got over it whenever, what's his name died?
What's his name?
Her husband.
Who's her?
I'm trying to think what her name is on the show.
Beth Dutton?
No, that's Yellowstone, and that is not coming back for season 6.
Why? Don't they know that you loved that show?
It's because the star of the show, what's his name?
I don't know.
He played in Dances with Wolves.
Kevin Costner?
Yes.
Is it really?
He's
A
not
total
coming back.
guess.
He's not coming back to the show.
So the whole show goes away because Kevin Costner is not coming back.
Yep.
Wow, that's some star power right there. Be like, peace out.
He
I'm
could be
done.
100 years old. He still looks good.
Does he?
He still has a good butt.
Oh my gosh. Harrison Ford is okay. How about Richard Gere? I think we have our answer. What about
I
Richard
never
Gere?
saw a movie that he was in that I didn't like.
Really? I don't have a lot of heartthrobs. Like there's no actor, there's not I mean I yes I like my boy bands, but I don't swoon. I don't really swoon.
You know, you're not that way.
But and the reason why I like the boy bands and such is because it reminds me of when I was a teenager. It just brings back really good memories. That's the big thing for me. But
But
actually, there isn't a but. I just don't swoon. I think when it comes to actors, there is an actor, though, that I will watch anything he does.
Adam Sandler?
No,
Oh.
no. He's funny, but no. Not even in the same league. Tom Hanks. Absolutely
He's
anything
phenomenal.
with Tom Hanks, I'm done. I'm down. Like
Yes. I don't care
absolutely.
what he's in. It's going to be good.
Yep.
Like when first time I saw Polar Express, I thought, now this is going to be dumb. But he made it so good.
He just has like I just enjoy watching anything that he works on.
Remember the movie Big?
Yeah, that was all right.
I loved him when he was doing the piano on with his feet.
FAO Schwartz.
Yes.
I remember when he did movies before he made it really big, like The Money Pit.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but I remember.
I watched that several times. And there were a few others that he did
Another
too.
one of your favorites would be Run, Forrest, Run.
Oh, I do love that movie.
And then The Green Mile.
That was sad.
It was very sad, but it was a great movie.
What about Mark Harmon?
Oh, yeah, Gibbs.
Gibbs. Oh,
No,
Gibbs. Gibbs. That's
Yeah,
right,
now the
character's
show's
name.
no good since he left it.
Really?
Well, really, first Ziva left.
Uh-huh. Who is that? Which character is that?
That's her character, Ziva.
Oh, which one is that?
One of the. She was an Israeli
Okay.
agent for us.
Okay.
For NCIS.
Okay.
And then the guy that played Bull, Tony Danza. Not Tony Danza. But he plays Tony on
Tony
NCIS.
Danza.
Not Tony Danza.
Okay.
Tony.
Okay.
DiNozzo.
Oh, Gibbs is coming back. Oh, you should have just literally seen Mom. Like she just like I think she oh my goodness.
I love Gibbs.
What? No one likes Chris Hemsworth?
Who's that?
Look him up. Just type Chris Hemsworth. Let's see what Mom thinks.
Is it with a CH or a K?
Yep, CH. I do. I do. I don't swoon, but I do. You got to hear him speak too, because it's the whole thing. My husband has a man crush on Chris Hemsworth.
No, he is not my type.
You got to hear him speak.
Australian.
Uh-huh. He plays Thor in the Marvel movies. Oh, so good, so good. DiNozzo. Michael Weatherly.
That's it. Played DiNozzo.
DiNozzo.
But he left the series, but after Ziva left,
Uh-huh.
it comes out that him, Tony DiNozzo, and Ziva
DiNozzo.
had a thing, but they were always flirty with each other. And She had a baby that was his.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. Gigi Quilt's throat. Yes, ma'am, he hot. Lady Fair says, I named my Luminaire Thor. I will have to introduce Mom to the Thor movies. I know
I'm
you.
interested.
No. They're hilarious. They're hilarious. Hi. Did I watch? I used to watch like Justice League and Thor and stuff when I was a kid, right? Because we were watching one of the Thor movies, and I told Jason, I was like, this all seems so familiar. I was like, I feel like I watched this as a kid. Like, I don't just feel like I know the storyline. Like, I feel like that
Deja vu.
kind of, but what's like the nostalgia? I feel the
Yeah.
nostalgia. I'm like, oh yeah, and da 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 da. And then when like they introduced like Loki and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, right, his brother. Like it just all came back to me, and I was like, I must have watched this when I was a kid. And come to find out, yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
I know I used to watch He-Man.
Yeah.
And She-Ra.
Yeah.
And I have no idea why.
And Wonder Woman.
I was into Wonder Woman for a while. Like I loved Wonder Woman.
Yeah. You wanted to be Wonder Woman.
I did. I did. Wonder Woman. Yeah. I've seen the new Wonder Woman movie. I haven't seen, I don't think 1984, but I did see maybe I did. I don't remember. Anywho. I remember I got to be Wonder Woman for Halloween one year.
You did.
Remember that.
If I couldn't get you to eat something, I'd tell you Wonder Woman to eat it.
You did not.
I did.
It didn't work?
Not with peas. Not with sweet potatoes.
See, how about that? You couldn't trick me into eating disgusting food.
Is it the texture?
For peas, it's a combination of the texture and the taste. I didn't like the taste. However, I think it's really more of a texture thing. I don't like them when they're mushy.
No, we buy frozen ones now.
I really do like split pea soup.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the flavor. And the sweet potatoes, I just don't like the flavor because in my head it's like it's supposed to be a potato. And it doesn't taste like a potato. It's not that it's a bad taste. I just can't get over that it doesn't taste like a potato.
So call it a yam.
You know, if people call it a yam, I might eat it.
I'm going to make you some candied yams then.
We'll see. I don't know. Jury's still out on that one. I haven't tried sweet potato. I did. I tried it. I tried a casserole. I tried a bite. But it was still maybe it is the texture because it's got like a stringy.
Mushy. Yeah.
It's mushy and it's got like a I don't know.
I mean, if you
the
don't
flavor
like it.
The flavor was right, so maybe it is a texture thing. The flavor was nice. It was nicely, like there was a good flavor to it. I just didn't. It is a texture thing because it's the same thing with liver, chicken livers. Jason made a batch of chicken livers with dinner tonight.
Oh, they were so.
They actually were really good, and I love the taste of liver and chicken livers. I really actually do, but I cannot feel the texture. The livers, chicken livers have like that smooth side. I can't have any smoothness in my mouth because it'll remind me that I'm eating chicken livers and I just can't do it. I can't, there's something about my brain, it just stops. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird.
Aren't you glad you get to share all this stuff with your viewers? Y'all, she wants chicken livers for Christmas.
No, she doesn't. Although what I do really enjoy is there is a hibachi grill out by Tyson's Corner, Sakura, that does a side of chicken livers on the hibachi grill, steamed with teriyaki or soy sauce or something. And the way they cut them up, They're really fine. It's not like ground beef, but there's no smooth side to it.
Yeah.
And
I think we ate there before.
those I would eat. But yeah, I can't do a lot of that stuff.
Just for your information,
Hmm.
in all this stuff that you gave me, all this yumminess that you put in this dish,
Hmm.
there was not one Snickers.
I know. I only put hard candy over there for you. That's because that's the hand that I put into I put my hand into the hard candy dish and pulled out a handful of Werther's for you. I apologize that there were no Snickers over there. Mary's still trying hard for us to come out there tomorrow. We have Sakura in Leesburg too, Becca. If it wasn't for the so yeah class at 3 o'clock, I would probably drive out there and we could do like ice cream and dinner and stuff, but
In that order.
in that order. But with company coming over tomorrow night,
In your class.
and the class from 3 to 6, and then still having to prep for the live sale on Whatnot on Sunday, I really just don't. I can't go very far. I might steal ourselves away to go get our feet done tomorrow because we haven't done a pedicure. I've been waiting. But when we come back, that could be like the next weekend we could go out there.
We could do that.
Yeah. Not this weekend. This weekend's
No,
too much.
There's too much going on tomorrow. Plus, you got to get packed to leave on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll pack Wednesday or Monday night. Wednesday night. That might be too late, right?
Yeah, you may have a problem
I
there.
might have a problem. Might have a problem with that.
Joyce wanted me to, she cracks me up.
Joyce is my aunt. My mom is staying with her when we go to Detroit.
Yes.
Joyce
She's my
wanted.
sister-in-law, and I just love her to pieces.
Okay, what did she want?
She told me it's a running joke with us because I always bring her some biscuit mix that you can't buy up in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then she started watching some lady cooking on Facebook,
Oh gosh.
and she said, "Do they sell that white lily flower down there where you live?" I said, "Well, yeah." So she told me when I said I was coming up there this month, that my room and board would be a bag of white lily and a bag of the biscuit mix.
Mm.
And then when I talked to her last week, guess what she found in the stores up there?
White lily.
White lily.
White lily. Val says, my brothers and I ate spinach because of the Popeye TV show. We all wanted to be strong. I actually did like spinach.
You did.
I still love spinach. And this is the thing, like, Mom talks about how I didn't like peas and how I didn't like sweet potatoes. And the thing is I remember this. They would make every meal, we had a meat, a starch, and a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always had a glass of milk. That was our meal. That's what she would always do. And funny story about that, and I'll tell you in a minute. But we would always have a meat, a starch, and a potato. Or a meat, a starch, and a vegetable. And anytime green peas were the vegetable, I wasn't going to eat them. And I would sit there and stare at my plate forever until sometimes Mom would give up and let me go to bed. And it would be, you're not getting any dessert. And I really didn't care because I just didn't want the peas.
This is true.
So there was that. But anytime any other vegetable was on my plate, I ate it. I ate it. Broccoli, spinach,
cauliflower.
Oh wait, I did eat them, but I don't like them, and I won't eat them now. Cooked carrots. Carrots should be, yeah. Carrots should not be soft. They should be crunchy. I don't like cooked carrots.
I'd rather have cooked.
No, I don't like cooked carrots. But that's something that I have formed an opinion of as an adult. Carrots should be crunchy.
There were not, when I would cook for you kids, there was not a lot of things that you would just out and out refuse.
Peas were it.
Peas and sweet potatoes were basically it. I could make you a peanut butter sandwich, you would be happy. I could give you a bowl of soup, you'd be happy.
Oh, you know what you used to do for me that I loved when I was
The
sick?
applesauce.
Anytime I was sick, Mom would make toast and applesauce. And
Yeah,
she would do,
I'd put cinnamon in the applesauce.
you would also do chicken bouillon.
Yeah,
She'd get hot water and a bouillon cube, and I drink that. That was my go-to whenever I was sick. I
yeah,
remember that.
you wouldn't be wrong.
Nope.
I wish all four of you kids had good memories like that.
Does I have to ask this. If you knew that I was going to out and out refuse peas every time you put them on my plate, why did you keep giving them to me?
That's one of those things I would love to change. When you kids were being brought up, I was brought up, if it's on your plate, you eat it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to instill that in you guys, but too little, found out too.
A little too late.
Yeah, I would have handled it a lot differently now than I did back then.
So it really became more of like a control thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, I said this is what's for dinner. Here you go. And you knew going into that meal that I was going to fight you
Yeah,
on it.
yeah. I knew every time, oh God, she's going to give me a time about this.
Well, did anybody else give you a problem with peas, or was it just me?
Just you.
Just me?
Mhm.
What did Nicole give you a hard time with?
You don't remember?
No.
Burr burgers.
Who?
A burger from a bar.
Oh, because she didn't like the fact that they served alcohol.
Yeah.
And alcohol was a drug.
Yes.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. She was horrible about that. Well, they use beer to make those burgers. No, they don't, Nicole.
Nicole was so terrified of anything drug or alcohol related. She wanted to stay as far away from all of that stuff as she possibly could.
She has always been an all or nothing type personality.
Yep.
So that fit right in with it.
What about Bill? What was his
Bill would eat
demise?
anything.
Well, Bill also licked the bottoms of his shoes. So, what about Alicia?
She always ate what I put out there for her that I remember.
Donna says, I was never forced to eat anything growing up.
See, that's like I said, if I could do that over, I certainly would, because, as I've aged, there's some foods I just don't care for.
Your taste changes as you get older, too.
Yeah, but I never got over not liking hot dogs.
Ugh.
I was with hot dogs like you were with peas. I can remember sitting at my dad making us hot dogs for lunch, and him telling me I had to sit there till they were gone. So he went outside to do something, and I put them in the garbage can. I got sent to bed when he found them.
Hot dogs aren't exactly the healthiest protein, if you want to even call it that. Like, that's like being like, you're going to eat that chocolate bar or you're going to go to bed.
Yeah. I would go to bed every time. But my Aunt Pat could make me a bologna sandwich, and she would put mustard on it, and I liked that. But I don't anymore.
Lots of folks in the chat with lots of comments. Sean says, if you had a jog, you could always just slip on what you don't like.
You did try to do that before.
What was the dog? What was the
Ginger?
That was the poodle.
Yeah.
That liked to take a nap in the middle of the road.
Yeah. You would feed Ginger your peas there for a while.
How long do we have Ginger?
Not that long. 6 months.
Oh. I just remember she got hit by a car.
I wasn't home when that happened.
Yeah, Dad was. Dad said she was laying in the middle of the road and a neighbor hit her. And if I remember right, I overheard conversations he had about the dog later, and he was very graphic in his explanation, and I'm not going to go there, but I always had an image of what she must have looked like afterwards.
Not good, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then we got Rex after Ginger, and Rex ran away.
Yeah.
I would have run away too. And then we moved.
Well, it was after our house got set on fire.
Yep. What happens when you go to stay with your aunt while she's recovering from a stroke? Your neighbor set your house on fire because you had a color TV.
No, they wanted the generator we had rented.
Oh.
But your dad took it back before we went to Aunt Edna's.
Oh, I thought it was the color TV that we had in the front room.
No.
Do you remember when we packed up in the car and drove from Detroit all the way down to Tampa to see Grandma?
And had to leave the next morning.
That was hilarious. That's the best story. So Mom and my dad.
Do you remember those people that their car caught fire?
Yes. So my mom and dad decided he had Memorial Day off. It was Memorial Day weekend. He had Memorial Day off. His mom, a few years prior, had relocated down to Tampa in her retirement. And my grandfather, her husband, had passed away. And so they decided, kind of a spur of the moment decision, that we were going to go visit her for Memorial Day. So we all packed up in the car and we drive all the way down to Tampa from Detroit, one stop, not like just going all night, overnight. And I remember a couple of things about the drive down. So the first thing I remember is in Kentucky somewhere. I woke up in the car because we had a station wagon, and I remember seeing the fog on some horse fields, and I thought that was really pretty. And we stopped and got some coffee. Then I remember somewhere along the way, the car overheated, and Dad stopped, and he was a mechanic for Ford, so he should have known better. But he pulled the radiator cap off.
That was on the way back.
Oh, on the way back. Okay, so it was on the way back, not on the way down there, but he pulled the radiator cap off of the station wagon, and the hot fluid shot up and scalded his chest. So the rest of the drive, he was driving without a shirt.
But I had, Grandma made me some sun tea to have in the car. And we had all those tea bags, and he laid that on his chest. It took the burn out.
Oh, well, I was in the back of the car, so I did not know that. So that's also comical, driving along with tea bags just on your chest.
And he was not a small man.
That's hilarious. So, but I remember all that on the way down. And then I remember when we got there, it was in the morning one day, and we visited with Grandma, and then we had to take a nap. I remember taking turns with Bill and Nicole on her tricycle. She had an adult tricycle with a basket on the front. We were riding that up and down the road, taking turns on it, and we brought my dad's Aunt Edna, who was dealing with dementia, I think, a little bit, with us.
And she was having mini strokes.
Okay, I didn't know that. So we get down to Florida, and we were there like one day, and then next day Aunt Edna comes out and says to my grandma, "Well, Yvonne, it's been nice visiting with you, but I got dishes in the sink and I got to get home." And I was like, that's a long drive.
And she wasn't doing the dishes anyway.
I think that was just like her remembering, like she must have just been reliving a moment from the past.
Yeah.
Why did we leave that so quickly? Was it because of Aunt Edna?
I don't really remember. I think it was just because we had to get back for your dad to go to work.
That was you guys really did an in and out. You drove like 14 hours one way to have dinner with his mom, and then 14 hours back with 4 kids and his aunt in the car.
And then having all those other people whose car burned.
Yeah, we had...
There was 3 or 4 there.
we had we had in Kentucky somewhere along the way, we had um what was it? It was around Kentucky. We stopped and there was a car that was on
Yeah.
fire, and it was a couple and a boy. And I remember feeling, I remember this boy was calling the parents by their first names. He must have been adopted or foster kid or something. But we stopped to help them, and because that's what my dad would always do. And we picked them up and we gave them a ride. And they lived in Ohio. When we got to Ohio, they insisted that we stayed the night at their house because we had picked them up. Because, I mean, this is back before you had cell phones. What did you do if your car caught on fire 300 miles away from home?
Exactly.
So, yeah, on our way back up, the car that had 4 children and 3 adults shrunk to
You want to
accommodate.
talk about no room?
There was no room.
You didn't have room to let a fart.
No, well, I would have done it anyway.
You probably did.
I remember, what was that boy's name? I wished I
don't
remember.
But I remember when after we got them and they made us spend the night there, they filled up our gas tank, and I don't remember if they gave us money, but they filled up our gas tank for us
That's very kind.
and bought us food for the road in repayment for helping them. It's like, well, you didn't have to do that, but we were really glad they did because we were out of money.
Oh, to be young again.
That was just young and dumb.
That little boy I had kind of a little crush on. I thought he was cute. But he lived in Ohio and I did not. I don't even remember what he looks like.
I wouldn't know them if I saw him on
I
the side of the road.
don't remember what he looked like. Don't remember anything. I just remembered he called the parental figures by their first name, and I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, because we never let you guys do that.
No.
And who calls me by my first name now? Alicia.
Hello, Nancy.
Yeah.
She just likes to do that to mess with you, I think.
It don't bother me a bit.
I know.
Lord, it's almost 10 o'clock.
Well, that means I am almost done with my live stream.
Then what are we doing? You know, I'm still drinking this cup of coffee you bought me about 6 hours ago.
We're driving out to Mary's house. Make room, Mary. Here we come.
I'll be asleep before we get there because I'm going to take my pill.
Yeah, I should probably get some sleep too, because tomorrow I would like to go get my toes done, and I need to figure out the items that are going to be for sale in my shop. I already know what most of them are going to be, but I need to get them all listed and loaded so that you can see what I'm going to be selling on Sunday. And then I've got the class that I'm teaching at 3 p.m. And then Dominic and his family are coming over for dinner and games tomorrow night, or it might just be Megan and the kids. We'll see. We're going to have game night.
If he went
camping.
Yeah.
We're going to have game night with some or all of the Josephs tomorrow night. And then Sunday, we've got a long day ahead of us. I was just going to do church online. Is that okay? Or do you want to go in person?
And this Sunday online is good, but while I'm
Next
here...
Sunday we'll go in person when we come back?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So I told Rick I was going to see if he would take me to church.
No, that's fine. I just don't... I feel like this weekend with everything going on, online service is probably better.
And that's fine.
All right, so here are our 2 blocks. What do you think?
These are gorgeous.
Let me give you what they look like in the overhead so you can see them a little bit closer. There we go. So you can kind of see that there's still flowers on there, but the batik is really adding a lot of movement. So my goal is to kind of do something like that.
I think that would be astonishing. It would be great.
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe.
I love them.
What do you think, folks?
What do you think, folks? I think that will go to better. To better? Do you see how you're starting to get that half of a wagon wheel
Yeah,
design right here? I don't want that. So if I just stagger it a little bit,
I like it like you've got it right now.
yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
And I wasn't going to talk tonight.
You weren't, but you just got going. We had a little trip down memory lane, which was nice. It's always nice to have somebody in the studio with me to talk with while I'm doing some sewing, because sometimes I feel like, especially if I don't have my mojo or my sojo, I feel like I'm just going through the rhythm. And tonight
Yeah,
was kind of nice because I got to figure out why my mom force fed me peas when I was a kid. And the answer is because she could.
but I won't do it again.
Please don't. I actually don't mind them. Like,
Do you like sugar snap
I love
peas?
them. It's
I
the
do too.
texture. I don't like that they're mushy.
See, and back then, nobody talked about texture of food.
Well, and you know the other thing that I don't like?
Hmm.
Wet bread. I don't like soggy bread.
No.
I don't like it.
Uh-uh.
If I had, like, you have that, what is it, the French onion soup where they put the croutons on top?
No.
Nope. The French juice where you dip the bread and no,
I'll do that, but not very often.
nope, nope, nope,
Like
nope,
once
nope,
every 20
nope,
years.
nope, 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 nope. Unless the bread is super crusty and
Yes.
adding the juice will just make it a little bit softer.
Yeah.
I don't like mushy, soggy. I don't like
No.
it. And peas are mushy and soggy. So, anywho, it's 9:46, so let's do a little bit of sharing. Let's see what you guys have been working on tonight, and then we will call it a night. Got to get my keyboard to work.
So glad that you perked up tonight. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mama. I mean, thank you, Mama. Frozen peas in a salad. What do you think? Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, we got a yes there.
Have you ever had pea and peanut salad?
Pea and peanut salad.
You take frozen peas, a little bit of red onion, and peanuts, mix them all together with and add mayonnaise. Oh, it's
Oh
so good.
gosh, is this another one of those things that you put mayonnaise on anything and it becomes an instant salad?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Joyce. That's how where I learned
There's
about it.
no, there's a skit on YouTube. I'll show it to
Oh,
you later. This couple, the Holderness family, I love their videos. But they were talking. They do these skits with this lady who I think is from like Michigan or Ohio, and
well,
she's got
there's your
that
problem right
she's got
there.
that accent. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
back home, she's got that dialect to her, and so they over exaggerate the accent and they make fun of
Oh,
things.
you told. I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of
No.
the skits is like, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to make a Watergate salad. And she's like, a what now? And she's like, yeah, you just take out the apples and you chop them up and put them in. Then you add some mayo. And the whole time, like every time she's adding off
That's a
another ingredient,
Waldorf salad.
Waldorf salad, right? And every time she was like, oh, so salad. Okay. And the ladies, I'll have to show it to you, but basically, like the Midwesterner is like, oh, it's a salad. And then the other person is like, oh, so it's healthy. And then every ingredient is like one thing worse. Like we put mayonnaise in, and then some Miracle Whip, then some whipped cream, and then she's like, this isn't a salad at all. She's like, oh, it's a Waldorf salad.
Marshmallows.
Marshmallows, yeah. Like, yeah. She's like, so you just add salad to everything.
It's like if you add Cool Whip, it's a salad. It's a dessert.
Right?
Watergate salad, Oreo delight,
Oh,
Butterfinger delight.
no, no, thank
All those
you.
delights.
All right, so here we go. This is what we have in the Facebook group. We're going to look for newest posts and see what we've got out there. The first,
Did you say newest posts or newest pokes?
well, I don't know. Probably meant one, said the other, but whatever. Sean from The Guy Who Sews says he did a mini block for the Wizard of Oz quilt. It was meant to be all gray, but I tried to make it look more like the house in the movie. Very cool. Ronnie Nicole did this quilt, and that looks like a disappearing something or another. Or maybe a rail fence? Probably a disappearing four patch. Paula Hill has She says have one rainbow colored pinwheel and fill in with black. That's pretty. Do you see her pinwheels? That's pretty.
That is astounding.
Paula did a couple of other finishes. She's got some Winnie the Pooh in here.
Love Winnie.
Winnie the Pooh.
You always loved him too.
I did?
Just for a minute when you were toddling.
I didn't. I don't love him as an adult.
No.
Oh, wow.
It looks like our Molly.
Kathy Gerhart, I had to share with you since you were working on FPP. I will be adding borders once I decide what colors. Loved making it. This is what you can do with FPP, Mom.
That's pretty.
Yeah. So
I don't want to be bothered.
You don't have to. But where FPP, I feel like, really has a strong suit is you can do things like that or like this that have irregular angles that you can't get just by sewing squares together. So, not easily anyway.
That's pretty.
It is pretty. This is from Katie from Greenland. Finished the center for the Cotton Cuts Olympia Simone.
That's very pretty.
Yep. She also is working on these blocks for a mystery quilt along.
Wow.
Oh, this looks familiar. Finished the Feeling Crabby quilt. So I do have some of these kits using some of the Beachy Batik fabrics that will be available for sale on Sunday. I want to make that one day. Katie in Greenland is working on this block as well. This is for the Cotton Cuts Color Challenge.
It almost looks like Michigan colors, don't it?
Yep, blue and yellow.
Blue and gold.
Maize and blue.
You call it maize, we call it corn. That's what.
Maize and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Paula says, this is my son's quilt and it's finally done. The pattern is a bear paw roll-up by Elise Leah for Robert Kaufman. I enlarged it as my son is a big man. The fabrics are purples and reds. Anna Maria Horner, Love Always. And she's got some others listed there too. I'm not going to read through them all, but there you go.
Nice.
Anne-Marie Mikowski is working on adding the borders to her beautiful butterfly quilt. Look at that beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when you take blocks and you turn them into a shape of something.
Yeah, I like to do that.
Debbie says, I'm not quilting tonight, but I was loading the dishes into the dishwasher before So Becca's live tonight. I looked out the side door and saw our horse grazing in our back pasture, so I decided to take a picture. When I stepped out onto the porch, I noticed there were some deer in the pasture too. I zoomed in as far as I could, but they are pretty far away. They are on the hill on the upper left-hand side. Do you see them?
No.
I don't either. That's as close as I can get.
Yeah, I don't see them. They must be in the tree line.
Probably. They love to hide in that tree line. Elizabeth says, I just finished this in the hoop table centerpiece.
I love that.
Okay, that's beautiful. Christine says, do you know when the Zoom links will be sent for your class tomorrow? They should have been sent already. If you did not get the Zoom link for the class tomorrow, please email me and I will see what I can do to help you out. Tiff says, took me a long time to lay out my rows, but here's my hand-pieced rows laid out to see what my quilt may look like. I can't believe I pieced all of that by hand. She can't sew right now because she's in a cast on her hip and her torso, and she's kind of limited to bed rest and limited sewing. She can't use the machine, and so she still wants to quilt. So she is sitting in her bed. She has an adjustable bed now. She is sitting in her bed hand piecing.
That's very cool.
Hand piecing.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I know because I've done it.
Hey, Katie with an E is here. Hey, friend. She says, I am opening my first Queen of Hearts block of the month. And oh my, what have I got myself into? Look at this. Oh my gosh, look at all the templates. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. You have to text me a picture. Susan Year Out says, this is a quilted shopping bag I made. I use it for a project bag.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then we're back to Sean's. We have a new member request. Sherry, we've got you in. If you want to post a picture, we'll show people what you have been working on tonight. Valerie says, I made this quilt for my veterinarian that I have known for 30 plus years.
Very nice.
Mom really likes earthy tones.
I do.
Yeah, so, oh, we saw that one already. And we'll refresh and see if anything else came in. Sean said, good thing we aren't hunters. Katie said she could see where the deer were. I missed it. And I zoomed in, so I'm glad you guys saw it, though. And that is it. Donna said the hand piece top is looking great, Tiffany. All right, we'll refresh one more time. Katie says that Nikolai worked on this. So Nikolai is her husband. She calls him her heartlight. He's, I think, home right now with her. She's having some eye procedures done, so I'm glad that he can be home with her. But he made this Lego sewing machine. He made it from spare Legos that he had in a container. Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's even got a spool of thread up here.
To her eyes?
I don't know.
I was just wondering if it was cataracts.
No, I don't think so. I think she's having a problem with vision. They're doing testing or something.
Okay.
Sean said, someone told me recently they bought one of those trays on wheels from a hospital and they machine sew on that.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool. Oh, here we go. Peggy Cox. We are working on this quilt top. I love it. Peggy, is that you? Because you're always so camera shy. I hope it is. That's a beautiful quilt, and I love all the colors. I already know what my favorite block in this is. What do you think is yours? Which one's yours?
Me?
Yeah, count from the left. Tell me how many rows down, how many from the left.
6 rows down, 3 in.
So the bottom row, the third one, is it the red and pink?
Yep.
Do you want to guess which one is mine?
Probably teal.
How many rows down? How many blocks in?
I don't know.
It's either 3 rows down on the left or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows down, 2 in from the left.
Yeah. I see you, the 5 rows, 2 in.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I ordered my new glasses yesterday.
Yeah.
They're red.
Oh, goodness. Well, those are kind of red.
Oh, no, these are red.
No, you went after Zoe, huh? You did Zoe's thing.
But mine are metal.
Gotcha. All right, folks. It's been real. It's been fun. But it's not been real fun. Teasing. Totally teasing. It has been a blast. Thank you for hanging out with me and my mom tonight as we both did some sewing in here. We enjoyed our time together. Don't forget, Tuesday we've got a vlog coming up, and next week on Friday there will not be a live because
we'll be in the Detroit.
No, you will be in the Detroit.
Oh yeah, you will be in the Windy City.
I will be in the Chicago with les boys from Les Blocs. The new kids on Les Blocs.
Yeah.
And actually, 1 week from right now, I will be at their concert. So they're doing a weekend New Kids on the Block convention, and it all kicks off Friday night with a concert. So this time next week, I will be rocking out to The Right Stuff and Hangin' Tough and a bunch of other things. And then I'll come get you on Sunday. So.
When are we coming back home?
Monday, Memorial Day, we're driving back.
Okay. When is Zoe's concert?
Wednesday the 31st.
Okay.
So, no live stream a week from tonight. We'll continue to have vlogs uploaded on Tuesday, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for those. And Sunday, 12 noon Eastern Time, I will be doing my last D-Stash for the month of May live on Whatnot. And there are going to be things that are there that were not there in weeks prior. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. Items will be loaded in the auction tab sometime tomorrow. So make sure you've gotten your $15 to shop on Whatnot, because you can shop, you get $15 worth of stuff for free if you just use the link that I've
Lose
shared
the
with
link.
you. Lose the link.
Lose the link.
Use the link. Make sure to use that link to get your $15 credit to create your account, and then buy something for free with $15. Like, there'll be plenty of things that you can buy for $15. Anywho, stop by Sunday, and I'll see you guys all on the flippity flop. She itches. Becca out. See y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.